We got Peyton Bradford, Western Illinois senior defensive end, third year at Western. So, Peyton, just some thoughts about this upcoming 2025 season.
Well, there's a lot of new going on. We get new conference from last year. We had the transition phase. We have a new defensive coordinator, a lot of new faces that Coach Davis had brought up, and a lot of impact guys. So I'm really excited about how new everything is and how we have an opportunity to kind of, you know, put ourselves back into the spot that we were before as a program, and spearheaded by Coach Davis, and allowing us to kind of have the opportunity to be where we're at with these new impact players that we have. So it's really just a lot of excitement for us. So
Perfect. Well, let's go to some questions. We got Dan from Prairie State Pigskin. Go ahead, Dan.
Hi, Peyton. Good to see you.
good to see you.
Coach talked about, and you probably heard him there, about how you had gone into his office. What can I do to get on the field more? Just kind of walk us through, what happened with the conversation and what followed.
Well, I mean, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. One of the things that I learned in high school from my high school head coach, Trent Merzon, was that you don't give up even when stuff is hard. Giving up is not an option, especially here. It's always keep pounding no matter how hard it is, and you have to find a way. And so when I walked into that room, I was obviously very frustrated, and instead of being disrespectful and saying, well, I deserve this, it was more of, what can I do to be where I feel like I can be, or where I see myself being? What avenues can I take? And his response was, I understand where you're coming from. I hear you. Just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. You're rising up. Your stock is rising. Just keep going. And so that's what I did. And no matter how frustrated I got or whatever happened, it was more of, you just got to keep going and keep trying. And the opportunity at some point will present itself. It will tap you on the shoulder. And if you're ready, you're ready. And if you're not, you're not. And I wanted to make sure that I was ready no matter what came my way. So
I guess talk about that Gardner Webb game, because that was kind of the culmination for you then, right?
it was, it's actually funny. I walked up to Jalen Riven, one of my teammates, number 5, the other defensive end, and I said, I'm going to have 4 sacks today. And he laughed at me, and I said, I'm serious. I'm going to have 4 sacks today. Watch. And I was one short, but I went out there and I was like, well, if this is my last game, then it's my last game. I might as well do everything I can to make sure it's the most memorable game of my life. And I mean, through JUCO, through high school, nothing tops how that felt. It allowed us to seal off our season with a win, give us more momentum going into the off season, a little bit more hope. And I'm just happy that I was able to play a part in that victory and allow us to, start off season on a great foot. So, I mean, that's really all there is to it. I wanted to go out there and have fun and, help this team be where it needs to be.
I've got one more for you. You went into that game thinking this could be it. This could be my last game. It's not. You've got this year.
Yep.
So how does that all tie in together and play out?
Well, I mean, now the expectation, at least I put on myself, was that, if I can do that in that conference game, why can't I do it in every conference game? Why can't I go into Illinois and do the same thing? Me and the team have done a tremendous job of putting in work in the weight room and on the field, doing player-led practices in the morning, holding each other accountable, doing a lot of player leadership, and really just trying to make sure that we're all on the right track as a team. And so with the help of some of my teammates, some of the other D linemen, it's just been constant work. And so I think that with that consistency going into, this next season, there's no reason why we can't do that every game, or I can't do that every game, or whatever it may be. There's no excuses anymore. Yeah, but even with all the new defensive coordinator, Coach Fox, who's done a tremendous job of keeping us accountable, I think that we're going to thrive under this scheme. And like I said, I hope my performance in Gardner Webb happens every week, because that's the expectation now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peyton, Mark Simpson with the Big South OVC staff. kind of touching on a little bit about the defense, how would you describe the identity and or what your expectations is for your group this coming season?
I would like the defense to be a hard-nosed, no BS defensive scheme. I want people to be scared to run the ball against us. And then when they're scared to run the ball against us, they try to throw the ball. I want their quarterback to have fear that we are coming after them, that no matter what decision they make, whatever decision that offensive coordinator makes, it's the wrong decision. I want them to know that we're coming after them no matter what they run. And nothing's going to be able to, I don't want them to, I really just want them to have the worst time. I want them to see Leathernecks on the schedule and say, oh my gosh, we're going to have a hell of a time. That's what I want.
And I kind of get a sense, but what excites you about the new schemes or the new coordinator or just this coming season about your defensive group?
He came in and we were right to work. There was no transition. There was no grace period. It was, hey guys, I'm Coach Fox. Here's day one install. Let's start learning. So having Coach Fox come in here, and he's got the same goals that we do, to have hard-nosed defense, and there's nothing that's going to stop him from doing that. He's made that very clear. If you're confused, he will guide you to the answer to make sure that by the end of the season, that every offense in the conference looks at us and says, wow, Coach Fox and the WIU defense did exactly what they said they were going to do. And so I think his tenacity and his drive to consistently try to make us better week after week, and making sure that we are on the same page every play, every snap, no matter what it may be, is what excites me the most about him.
Awesome. Best of luck this season, Peyton. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Got one more for you, Peyton, if nobody else does. Earlier, the team, they had an offensive lineman. So I asked them, what's the best thing about being an offensive lineman? So I'm going to ask you, what's the best part of being a defensive lineman?
You don't have to think. You go. The second that ball moves, you're going. And you have one job, and that is your one gap, unless you're running a stunt. So it's pretty low maintenance. As long as you get off the ball and you wreak havoc, which is something that I've really enjoyed, which is why I play defense, is the best part about playing D-line. You just go. It's go, go, go. High motor, wreak havoc, and that's it. That's D-line. That's why I love the D-line.
Some great answers. Great job today. Appreciate your time and best of luck this year.
Thank you so much.